that, I'm going to turn it over to Senator DePalma.
Really, you want to put this? I don't know. You want to lay it down? You wipe your base.
There we go.
Director Piccola, thank you for the introduction. Governor Raimondo, Representative Ruggiero, Secretary Bean, Director Piccola, and Joanne. Executive Director, Joanne. When the governor took office back a few years ago, 2014 in fact, I think one of her first orders of business beyond one thing was DCYF. She made a commitment to DCYF, get leadership in DCYF, and turn DCYF around. And she has. It's a long journey. It's not a sprint. I'm not a runner. I never have. Don't ever want to be a runner, but it's a marathon. It's a long journey to get there. So, Governor, thank you for your leadership with regards to DCYF. And as you know, we're not done. There's a lot more work to go. As I've said, and I'll say it today again, Director Piccola categorically has the hardest job in the state. Categorically, the hardest job in the state. Responsible for 3,000 to 4,000 kids that we're all responsible for as Rhode Islanders. She has the ultimate responsibility and accountability. She can delegate some of that responsibility, but she has the ultimate accountability for those thousands of kids in the care of the state. Big deal, big deal. We thank her for it. We thank her for doing what she's done, and obviously Jamie McDonald before that. It's a big deal for the work that you do. As the governor has said, and Director Piccola has said, we've been working on this for a while, but Rep. Ruggiero and I, as I like to call it, are really a vehicle. We're really a means to an end. You folks, I'm going to go through and recognize some of you folks, who you folks have been doing the work over the last many years, probably working this for 10 years. While Rep. Ruggiero and I came into the Senate together, and she is my rep, and focusing on health and human services that I have for the last 10 years, you folks have been doing this even longer than that. This is my number one legislative priority this year. And I'm excited the governor's put it in the budget. It could be Rep. Ruggiero and I's number one, number two, number three, nth priority, but we need everyone involved and anyone listening to be involved to bring this over the goal line. I like the football analogy. I used to coach Pop Warner football and played in high school, and you got to get it over the goal line. Getting it to the 1 yard line, almost winning, it's about winning. It's about bringing this over the goal line. This is the right thing to do. As Director Piccola indicated, think about a child or a young adult turning 18, living in a group home, and we know we don't want children living in group home. When they turn 18, we say, thank you. And as they walk out the door, and several organizations have done things with suitcases, some might have a bag in their hand. They're going to walk out the door in the back. Some want to go because they're in congregate care. They had enough of it. Some would rather stay. But they're going to walk out that door with the bag, and where are they going? As a father of two daughters, now two daughters in their 30s, a 30-year-old and a 32-year-old, 3 grandsons, and I think my daughters are doing well. I'd like to think of myself back when I was 18, which was a long time ago, not having a surrounding family or a grandmother with 3 aunts living next door or an aunt and uncle and 2 cousins living next door to that, what it would be like being by myself. We got to make this thing personal. One of the things Joanne does when she comes to the State House to testify before the Senate Finance Committee is she makes it personal for us. She really does. So when we think about extension of care, and we think about 18-year-olds exiting out of the care of the system, you can think about it in 3 different dimensions, I'll say. The cognitive side, people that want to think about it from an intellectual perspective. You might want to think about it from an emotional side. But if all you care about is the financial side, let's talk about the financial pieces in a minute. So we're talking about what the extension of care will seek to ameliorate in society. 5 areas. These are my 5 areas, and plenty of work's been done across the country in this. The Washington Policy Lab has talked about these 5 areas. I'm not going to go into the details, but I'll talk to the 5 areas. One area, limited personal savings, limited financial gains those individuals will have. Second, impact on their health. These have all been proven out, and they have numbers associated with these. Third, incarceration for some of these, what they've seen in this. The 4th is teen pregnancy. The 5th, homelessness and substance abuse. And the last, the 6th, sorry, there's 6, not 5, I lied to you. As an engineer, I lied to you. But the 6th, hard to believe, premature loss of life by those individuals. So the Washington Policy Lab in Washington State, who's had this in place for a while, has come up with these, and they have numbers they put against these of what the extension of care will do to ameliorate the negative side effects. And as the governor said, it's a modest amount, it's in the budget. We need everybody there to move it over the goal line. Before I finish, I do want to recognize some of the folks that were part of that work group. I'm not going to ask you to stand, some have been recognized already, but I'll start with the State Departments, that being Director Piccola and DCYF, Rebecca Basta, Director of BHDDH, Behavioral Healthcare, Developmental Disabilities and Hospitals. I talk fast, I'll try not to talk too fast. Mike Cronin and Tara Provençal from the Executive Office of Health and Human Services. Jennifer Griffith and Katelyn Medeiros from the Office of the Child Advocate. And she is here, they're all important, but one of our special thanks is to Sharon O'Keefe. Sharon's somewhere. Sharon. She's hiding in the back, as she typically would do. The advocates, you folks are what's making this happen. Categorically, you folks are what brought this today, and you folks will be critical in getting it over the goal line. In alphabetical order, because the only thing I know is alphabetical order. So Darlene Allen from Adoption Rhode Island, Lisa Gillette from Foster Forward, Lisa Tomaso from the Providence Center, Tanya Kubis-Meyer from the Rhode Island Coalition of Children and Families, Elizabeth Burke-Bryant and Kara Foley from Rhode Island Kids Count, Justine Hastings and her team from the Rhode Island Innovative Policy Lab at Brown. And they're doing some work on us, looking at ameliorating the negative side effects and what those values are, and many folks from the Annie E. Casey Foundation. Two other folks I want to mention. One is here, one's not. Karen Lowe from the Senate Policy Office, and Tina Spears, who is now working over at EOHHS on the consent decree for DD. Tina was from the Senate Fiscal Office. Those are the folks that did the work, as we talked about over the last N number of months, in trying to put together the facts and the data. But the first group of folks that I mentioned, and second group, you folks have been working this for years. So thank you for doing that. Governor, thanks again for doing this. It takes real leadership to do this. Director, we're right behind you, or not behind you, we're on the side of you. Never going to stand behind you, we'll stand beside you, but we do need the advocates and everyone else to help get this over the goal line in the budget. Thank you very much.